Welcome to episode 1 of the Texans franchise. Quan Frazzle Bingleton III will be attempting to bring the Texans back to the good old days. Now, if you haven't seen my 2K series, or you don't know what to expect out of this one, I will be focusing on realism and storytelling to keep y'all immersed in the league. I will let you, the viewer, create a player for the up and coming draft class if you want to, and maybe the Texans might end up drafting your user. If you're interested in making your own player, you can check the Discord link in the description. Now for this Houston roster, of course it has a lot of young talent, but this team is obviously not too good. In just the preseason, the Texans' young halfback Dameon Pierce got hurt. Houston will end up trading for Kene Nwangwu from the Vikings to have a backup RB, and they've bolstered up their return man talent. Now for the current roster, a lot of this team will be put on the shoulders of CJ Stroud. With the Texans signing and drafting multiple O-linemen, Houston is trying to build a nice foundation to protect Stroud. The receiving core isn't amazing, but they have a solid veteran receiver in Robert Woods. Houston drafted Tank Dell 69th overall in the draft. He may not be amazing out the gate, but he showed some nice flashes in the preseason, and Nico Collins is a solid, not awful, deep threat for Houston. On defense, the Texans are banking on Will Anderson continuing his great play from Alabama. Will Anderson will be a focal point of this defense. To help out, the Texans have some nice young secondary pieces in Petrie and Derek Stingley, while the Texans acquired the solid safety from San Fran, Jimmy Ward. Also with Kene, the Texans have a great return man. Quan Frazzle's goal will be to get around 6 or 7 wins this year. We aren't expecting a playoff berth this early, but improvement is needed. The Texans' Week 1 matchup will be up against the Anthony Richardson-led Colts. Indy has a lot of defensive talent, but last year the Colts were very lackluster on that side of the ball. Stroud will have to look for the middle linebacker Shaquille Leonard, while Houston's defense needs to be focusing on Jonathan Taylor and of course the explosiveness from the 4th overall pick Anthony Richardson. Now going into this rookie duel, the biggest concern for Houston needs to be to contain the running from Jonathan Taylor and Anthony Richardson. The obvious problem being that Houston has been one of the worst, if not the worst run defenses in the entire league for years. The 2nd overall pick, CJ Stroud, starts with the ball, and on his first throw, it will be a completion to Robert Woods for a first down. Not a bad start from the rookie quarterback. A big focus for Quan Frazzle will be to get CJ Stroud going early. His thought process is, if Stroud can get in a rhythm quickly, in any given game, Houston may have a chance against any team. On the opening drive, Stroud misses a throw on 3rd and 18 after already getting sacked. Anthony Richardson's first pass will be completed for 13 yards to the tight end, Jelani Woods. The Colts on 3rd and 10 go for a deep shot to Pittman in single coverage, but Desmond King will knock the ball out of the air before he can complete it. Now with this being Stroud's first game, nobody is really expecting a monster performance, but the fans do want to see a win in the season opener versus a division rival. Stroud was praised coming out of college for being the most accurate QB in the draft class, and in the NFL, CJ Stroud must be smart with the football in order to win games, especially since his defense most likely won't be helping him out much. After getting sacked again, the Texans are pushed to 3rd and 21, and Robert Woods cannot make the catch. And the Texans elect to kick the punt and not risk missing the field goal and giving Indy good field positioning. And Houston ends up making an absolute punt and dot. The Colts are going to start at their own 1-yard line. But as many expected, going up against one of the league's best running back, this Houston defense wasted a great opportunity. And JT on 3rd down is gone. Jonathan Taylor is going to take it to the house. Nobody's even close to him. I don't know what the Texans on defense was doing there. Just giving up an easy 73-yard touchdown after the Colts started on their own 1-yard line. Having to respond, Stroud hits Tank Dell for a nice 25-yard reception to end the first quarter. The Texans know that they might have found something with this young receiver. The Texans will make sure that Tank will continue to have the ball in his hands, if it's by running sweeps, sneaky play actions, or deep shots down the field. Stroud connects on a nice play action to the former Cowboy, but on 3rd and 9, CJ Stroud forces it to Tank Dell, and it doesn't get close to being caught, and the Texans bring out the field goal unit, and Kaami Fairbairn drains the 57-yard field goal to make the score 7-3. And the Colts' next drive, Anthony Richardson started to heat up in the passing game, once again connecting with his tight end, Jelani Woods. And Jonathan Taylor continued to dominate this Houston defense, but after he needed a rest, Indy put in Zach Moss, and the Texans were able to get a big tackle for loss of 5 yards. Derek Stingley being able to cut off the halfback to get the tackle. Anthony Richardson would go on to throw a sketchy pass that was almost picked off by Denzel Perryman, and what could have been a pick six resulted in a Colts field goal to increase their lead to 7 points. Stroud and the Texans quickly go 3 and out, Stroud making a bad decision throwing to the middle of the field. When it looked like the Texans may get another stop, Richardson has too much time and he throws to the sideline to JT. He avoids one tackler, and Jonathan Taylor, once again, a explosive touchdown, and he's able to outrun Stingley, Petrie, Perryman, and Jimmy Ward to get the 74-yard receiving touchdown. And just like that, Houston is in a decent sized hole in just the first half. Stroud looks to the young receiver, and Dell is able to haul it in. Stroud on the play action takes a deep shot for Dell. He has his man burnt, but the safety is able to hit the ball before Tank could potentially make his biggest catch of his career. On third down, Stroud once again sees Dell, and Tank Dell tanks by Shaq Leonard, and he's able to get plenty enough yards for the first down. Stroud having his best drive of the game, and he scrambles and he dives for the first down, and he gets it. Great dedication to be able to move the sticks. Stroud on 2nd and 10 hits John Mechie in the middle of the field for 19 yards with just under 20 seconds left in the first half. And Dell is in motion. Stroud fakes the handoff, and Dell is wide open for the touchdown. Stroud and Dell's first career touchdown coming off the great play call by the coach Quanfrazzo Bingleton. To open the second half, it's clear Houston needs to try to limit JT's running game. Surprisingly, even though Taylor is dominating Houston, it's still only a 1 touchdown game. Richardson drops back, and the cornerback, Tavier Thomas, gets the half sack. Denzel Perryman also gets to Richardson for the half sack, and Richardson way back, and he's able to stay up on his feet and throws it away, showcasing his escapability he had in Florida. With a much needed stop, the Texans of course waste it all by not converting a very risky 4th down. The middle linebacker Denzel Perryman actually makes a great play on JT for the tackle for loss, and Richardson once again will go down, and it is the 3rd overall pick, Will Anderson Jr. He will get his first career sack against a very good Coastal line, and after the very stupid decision by the Texans to go for it, the Colts only scored 3 points. Singletary hasn't done anything spectacular throughout the game, but he has been surprisingly efficient against a tough defense as he gains 10 on the 4th and down. Stroud is able to connect deep for the newly signed Dalton Schultz, and in the red zone, Tank Dell gets a jet sweep and he gets the first down. Stroud now escapes the pocket, DeForest Buckner trailing behind, and Stroud is in for the touchdown. Stroud now has a passing and rushing touchdown tonight versus the division rival Colts. JT continues to dominate the Houston rush defense, and he's now put up 200 rushing yards on under 20 carries. Zach Moss gets popped, but still finds a way to get in the end zone. This effort by the Texans D-line has just been atrocious. Houston decides to go no huddle, and Stroud runs it on the QB draw, and Stroud gets shifty. Stroud avoiding multiple defenders, and he's going to pick up 37 yards on the carry. A great and smart play call by the Texans coach Quanfrazzo Bingleton, working his magic early in the season. And Singleton will battle it in for the touchdown to make it just a 5-point game. And keeping with the trend, Jonathan Taylor will put the game away, and the Colts will narrowly beat the Texans on their own home turf. A bad way for Houston to open their season against a division rival. What's weird is that even though the Texans only lost by 5, it seemed like we were never really that close since the moment we got down 17-3 late in the first half. Richardson played alright, but it was mainly JT doing the heavy lifting, while CJ Stroud was solid but nothing eye-popping. The completion rate was pretty low for Stroud, but he did keep control of the ball, and he did have a nice touchdown to Tank Dell and a 37-yard run on the draw play. Jonathan Taylor was of course dominant, getting over 300 total yards on us. completely embarrassing if we're being honest. Tank Dell was impressive in his debut, while every other receiver was mediocre or solid tonight. To finish out episode 1, we're going to look at our rivals. The Jags stomped the Commanders in week 1, T-Law and the rest of Jacksonville looking like some real competition. Take it with a grain of salt since they played Washington though. And Derrick Henry dominates in the running back duel versus Saquon. And sadly, both the Jags and Titans won week 1, so now Houston is the only team in their division without a perfect record. And that will be it for episode 1. Thank y'all for watching, and I hope y'all stick around to see Quanfrazzle Bingleton take Houston to glory. Peace.